Hello, everyone. I wanted to talk to you about basic small business networks, the topology, or physically how they're laid out, because we had questions about that 2 or 3 weeks ago. If you have a company, you'll have computers, obviously. You'll have desktop computers, as you can see on the right, laptop computers, as you can see here on the left. The thing that you generally want to do is they need to connect out to the internet. The way that typically happens is there'll be a router, a small router at a small company. Generally, those small routers will also provide a wireless access point. So it's an all-in-one device. The other thing they will provide is a firewall. Now, in larger networks, the router, the wireless access point, and firewall will be separate devices. In this case, they are one. I'm showing them as one. The firewall is important to know that it's there. And when it's turned on, it should be blocking bad traffic from coming in and restrict traffic that goes out. So that is typically what you see to small business. The next thing you may see is a simple network switch. These routers will have just a small number of ports. And if you only have 2 workstations, you could plug them both into the network ports on the router. They'll usually have 4 or 5 ports, along with a connection to the modem that is from your internet service provider, and then the connections for the other computers. It'll be a wide area network connection. It's usually called WAN. But what you'll usually do is plug in a cable. I usually use a different colored cable if you have an option. That cable can come over and plug into a switch. A switch is just like a simple switch that's not managed, is kind of like a power strip for network connectivity. So you could have, say, what do we have here? 12 different connections. No, we have 10 connections here, sorry. You could plug 10 computers into this, and they'll all communicate to the router and get out to the internet using this switch. So that's a very common setup that you'll see. The laptops and cell phones will be using the wireless access point that's included and built into the router. You can tell if the router is an access point. It'll have little antennas on the back of it. And some of them will have 5 or 6 antennas on them. You'll just have to look and see. So that's the basic topology and how things are connected together at a small business. One protocol I want to introduce here that could have been causing one of our students problems is DHCP, or Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. It's a network protocol that's used to assign IP addresses to all the devices on the network. And each device has to have a unique address and know where to go. They all need to know how to get to the router so they can get out to the internet, and the internet traffic can get back to the desktops and laptops on the network. So remember that DHCP. It's important because I've seen people come to work and they think they're bringing a network switch in, which does not run DHCP. There's some fancy ones that do, but you're not going to see those in small businesses. They'll plug in what they think is a switch, but it's really a router, and it will start handing out its own set of IP addresses using DHCP. And then you'll have some computers get the correct address from the router on the left, and then the other computers will get addresses from the other router somebody brought in, and they can't get to the internet. And it'll cause a lot of confusion on the network. So let's go to the next thing that you can do to see how your computer is configured. If you type Charlie, Mary, David, I think we've done that a few times, where you'll run a command CMD to open a command prompt like this on your Windows computer. Macintoshes have this too, but we'll focus on Windows. You'll run a command that I'm highlighting here called ipconfig, one word. That's going to give you a list of network information for your computer. We're focused on Ethernet 0 here. You'll see you also have a Bluetooth network connection, and you could see wireless network connections on a laptop. So you could see a few of these, and you can scroll up and down and look at them. What you're looking for here is the default gateway address. The default gateway address is telling your computer where to go for its next hop to get out to the internet. And as you look at this, you can see it's 192.168.86.2. That's the address for the gateway. The gateway with DHCP, remember, has assigned you an address on your laptop in this example of 192.168.86.129. And what you'll see is the gateway has a low number that's very common, say .2 in this example. Your laptop here, and I just took this off one of my computers, is .129. And you can see the preceding numbers are all the same. On a small network, that's very typical. It doesn't have to be that way, but it can be. Now, let's say that you type in ipconfig and you go to another machine and type ipconfig, and they have different gateways, different gateway addresses. Well, you've got 2 DHCP servers running on your network, and that's causing you problems, and you need to go find it and shut it off or disable it. So I hope that helps to see how you can determine what network configuration a laptop or a desktop has. You can see which address is assigned to it. You can also see what the default gateway is, which is the router, and determine if you're getting the correct IP address so that you can get out to the internet. Thanks. I hope this is helpful, and I'll talk to you later.